Hey guys, it's Maite. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have a really exciting video for you guys. This is the first ever run of the Elefan Planner, founded by Brianna Wilson, who is so sweet, and she sent this planner over for me to review for you guys. This has to be the biggest planner I have ever reviewed, ever seen. I mean, it looks like the telephone book, if you are old enough to remember those things. Like, this is huge. I'm going to go over why it's so big in a second and all of the ins and outs of this planner. But before I do, I wanted to remind you guys that I will be doing a 4-part live webinar series on productive planning in January. So that will be one live video every week covering productive planning, functional planning, meal planning, budgeting. I even have a guest coming on for the budgeting portion, and it is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for you guys to join me there, because if you are as interested in planners, organization, getting your home organized for next year, but you don't know where to start, or you kind of need a kick in the butt, I have got you covered. And so if you want to be there, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you won't miss any updates on that series. All right, let's get into it. So this planner is 8 inches across, 10 inches tall, and like at least 2 inches thick. I mean, this is huge. It is a soft bound planner, and it retails for $67.50, 10% off with my code Maite10. I will leave it in the description box down below. Note, this is an all-in-one planner, so you are getting all 12 months of the year. You are getting a weekly layout and a daily layout, so please factor that in when you are thinking about price as well. This paper is 90 GSM, which is expected. It's kind of like more of that thin paper that you would see in a book this big. That makes a lot of sense because it would be impossible to bind a planner like this with paper that was any thicker. I will go into the pen test later on in the video, and that will be in the chapters below. So this is the cover page. It has a little section for you to put your name. This is a little welcome note from the founder, and begin anywhere. So sorry, I'm just gonna have to like hold this planner up. So here is the year at a glance page, January through December, and you have a page for notes. This is also the page for self-discovery. What does my life look like? Am I happy with how I've been spending my time? So she kind of just takes you through some of these questions to get you started for the year. What is my definition of success? That's super important. Analyze your key life areas. Fill in your satisfaction level 1 to 10 for each area. This kind of reminds me of the Laura Casey Powersheets. I will link my video to that review in the cards, but you know, we kind of have to like rate yourself and how you're doing and like grade the parts of your life. But here she leaves it open-ended for the parts of your life that you want to grade. But she does give you 10 areas to pick from if you're kind of getting stumped. So you have personal growth, spirituality, nutrition, fitness, etc., etc. Rate your overall life satisfaction. Pick 3 priorities. List 3 ways you can improve. This is your goal brainstorm and your 1-year bucket list. And she says at the bottom, highlight your top 5. Do they align with your priorities? Ooh. Claim your vision, your personal vision statement. And I'm assuming you carry that on into the blank page. Map your journey, top 5. So I guess this is describe the things you want to do by a certain day. So you have 5 of those. The sacrifices you need to make, your action plan, short-term goals. So this is, again, under the goal setting section of this planner. And then you have notes again, this black and white January cover page. Now, again, what I love about this is there is absolutely no color in this planner. Like, this is a very like no nonsense, down to business type of a thing. So if you love how neutral this is, you're gonna love the rest of it because it's equally as neutral. I do find it interesting though that this is an undated planner. She did put the months on all of the dashboards. So if you were to start this planner, let's say in the middle of April, I mean, you could definitely just ignore this and start it here. But that's interesting to note because I would think that in a planner that's completely undated, maybe you would have done numbers or something different. But so that's just something to note. You can just completely ignore that January is written there. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but just note that January again shows up here as well. So it's undated, but the months are written in. You have a Sunday through Saturday, so you don't have your weekends together. And as I mentioned, it's undated, so you don't have any of the dates filled in. Zooming you guys in, you do have just a simple sidebar that's completely blank. You don't even have lines here, so you can kind of really go all over the place with your notes. And you have a quote here at the top, so it's a very, very simple monthly layout. You then get your special events in January, important birthdays and anniversaries, so very straightforward dashboard and another notes page. And then you get your intention, so you have a quote from Martin Luther King for January, which is very fitting. Do you write on these? I'm not sure. I think this is just a design, but you can write on these, and that would be like a really cool Bujo-esque type thing to do. You have the big three for January. So again, you went through this in the goal setting for the year, but this is set up a little different because you have a section for missions and achievement date. So you also have boxes for realistic, controllable, and priority. So you have 3 of these. You also have all your habit trackers for your month. So it's great that there's also a goal for the number of days that you actually want to do something, because not all habits you necessarily are aiming to do every day. Let's say you're aiming to do 3 times a week. So then you can say, you know, I'm doing this for a total of X days, 3 times 4 weeks of the month, that's 12. And so whether you met it or you didn't, you have 7 habit trackers for the month. And then you also get a notes page. So you have a very straightforward box vertical weekly page. So here is the box for the date. Again, it is left blank because it is undated. You have an affirmation on your sidebar, and again, you have a section for notes. Your weekends are separate, which is fantastic, and I think in a planner this big, they should be separate. So that's great. The boxes are just very no nonsense. Like you have 3 vertical boxes. It is neutral. There are no headers, nothing, just 3 separate boxes for your weekly layout. Then we get to the daily pages section. So you have your weekly pages, then you have all of the dailies for that week, and then you go back to a weekly page. It's not split up where all your weeks are at the front of the month and then all your days are afterwards. It goes from weeks to days to weeks to days to weeks to days, if that makes sense. So here you have Monday and a huge space for the date at the top. You have to do, and then the priority that stretches over 3 main tasks. This is scheduled from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you have a lot of room. There is a line in the middle that you can use as a half-hour increment, or you can just ignore and use it for more space to write things down. So you have a big to-do list, and then you have a section for gratitude, an overall rating of your day, whether it was Elefantastic, which I think is really cute, fun, defeating, tragic, boring, satisfying, good, or meh. Like that is like the word of 2020 right there, meh. And then you have like a little tiny section for notes. So at the end of each month, you do get a goals in review, which is great because there is quite a bit of in-depth goal setting at the beginning of this planner. So there needs to be some way to round it out throughout the planner. So you have your intentions, how many intentions did you follow through with? So you actually have to like write down concrete numbers. You can't really hide from yourself with this one. And it even gives you a place to calculate the percentage. Like that is intense. And then you have big goals. So how many big goals did you achieve? What worked? What obstacles did you encounter? How can you improve next month? That's like a really nice way of saying like what didn't work. And then month in review. So again, you are rating the month, why, highlights, lesson learned, and notes. You also have more note pages. So this is a dot grid note page, and you get 2 at the end of the month. And then you get into February, and that continues just like that. So at the end of the planner, you are tied back to the goals that you set at the beginning of the year. So your self-discovery and review. What does my life look like right now? Am I happy with how I've been spending my time? What things do I value? What activities give me the most joy and satisfaction? Important needs that I have that are still not getting met. Wow, powerful statement right here. I wish this was like one whole page. What beliefs are holding me back from living my dream life? What is the definition of success? What new things have I learned about myself this year? Reanalyze your key life areas. So this is really great because you can compare exactly how you rated this at the beginning of the year with how you are rating it at the end of the year. Rate your overall life satisfaction, and then pick 3 areas to focus on for next year. So that's awesome that she includes just like a little bit like of goal planning for the next year. So your bucket list and review. So how many things did you get done on your bucket list? What was your favorite memory? What did you not get to do? And is there anything you no longer want to do? That's really powerful because the things we want to do in life change. And a lot can happen in a year. So these are your top 5 goals in review, your progress summary, what worked, your obstacles. Do you even have some of these same goals for next year? Your total year in review. So you're just rating this year on a scale of 1 to 10. And then at the end of this planner, I think this quote is really fitting, so I will read it. The journey is never ending. There's always going to be growth, improvement, adversity. You just have to take it all in and do what's right. Continue to grow, continue to live in the moment. By Antonio Brown. And that is the end of this super, super functional planner. So before I get into my thoughts, let me go into the pen test. So this is my Inkjoy gel pen, some mild liners. I can see a little bit of ghosting for sure, and there is slight bumpiness. Considering that the paper in this is really thin, which again is expected because it is such a big planner, it's really not that bad. I was probably expecting for it to be a lot more ghosting than there is. So on to my overall thoughts about this planner before I go into whether I think you should pick this up or not, and who do I think this would be the best for. So the 2 things I want to go over are just the construction of the planner, because I think the neutral layout is great. I think the goal setting pages are really to the point. I think this is a straightforward, no nonsense planner, and it's going to appeal to a lot of you guys because of that. However, this planner is very, very big. It's quite heavy, which again, these are not cons. These are just facts of the planner, but it's bound like a book. And so what happens with something this big is that when you don't have any way to find yourself in the planner, like not any tabs or like the tabs that are just built into the planner, which I think for a planner like this would be the perfect tabs, it's going to be impossible to find your place in this planner. There was not even a ribbon or 2 ribbons in this planner. This planner is 3 layouts, monthly, weekly, and daily, in all 12 months. This is just going to be constant looking around, trying to find your place in this planner. I have said this about so many planners this year, but especially in a planner this big, I really, really hope for next year that they find a way to put tabs in this planner, because I think that there was a paper bookmark that came with this planner. But again, for $70 with a planner this big, it's definitely catered for people who want their entire year in one planner, like they want everything in one place. And if that's the case, you need at least a ribbon bookmark to find your place in this, because like how else are you going to know where you are, especially because it's undated. So let's say you start this in April, you're not even going to know where you are towards the middle of this book. So that's one thing I really, really hope to see in the future, that they add some sort of tab or ribbon to this just to make it a little bit more user friendly. The other elephant in the room, no pun intended, is that this planner is really, really chunky, which makes it really hard to write either on the front end of the planner or the back of the planner. So as you can see, just based off of gravity and pure physics, that when I I have this whole section of the planner on this side. It's going to be really hard to write on the thinner part of the planner unless I hold it down. Like, I won't be able to write on it very well. So when you read a book this big, it's fine because you're used to either reading or highlighting, and you can just kind of turn it like this and read it. But for something that you want to write on, you then have to kind of bend it to find support to write on. And then it becomes like a task where you have to hold it down with one hand and write with the other to even be able to write on the planner. Now, in the middle of the planner, it's not going to be as hard because you're going to have gravity working for you on both sides of the planner, and it's going to be a lot easier to write on. And I did email Brianna about that concern about being able to write on the planner and if the binding was going to change, etc., just like as a heads up of my initial thoughts. And she said they were keeping the binding for next year and that the planner should fall flat as you use it. And I completely agree, it will fall flat in the middle of the planner. As you can see, this isn't like a flat lay binding, but it's a lot flatter here in the middle of the planner. However, it's just against physics for that to happen at the front of the planner. Like if you were to start this planner a week from now, writing on it, as you can see, it just keeps popping up because there's so much weight on one side. So that's just something to keep in mind from a user-friendly perspective. I understand wanting to keep all 12 months, the all-in-one planner. I really think that's like a great idea. But from a user-friendly perspective, it is going to be difficult to write on either the front end of the planner or the very tail end of the planner. And so that was just something that I wanted to highlight for you guys. That's going to be a deal breaker for some of you. Some of you guys won't really care. I don't have a lot of experience writing in books that are this big, like doing extensive writing in books that are this big, just reading in books that are this big. So that would be definitely a learning curve for those of you who are interested in buying this planner. So that's just something I wanted to bring to your attention if you were really interested in buying the planner, that is going to be a little bit more difficult and that is going to take some getting used to. So who do I think is really going to benefit from this planner? Is it worth the almost $70 price tag? I definitely think if you are someone who you just want everything in one place, you just want a neutral planner, you don't want a lot of bells and whistles, you kind of want something that is goal planning and a daily planner and a weekly planner, and you don't want any color, then this is definitely a planner to look into. I do highly recommend it. I will have the link and everything down below that you will need. And this is where I say, like, I'm so happy planners are more self-selecting nowadays. If you want something that's portable, like this is obviously not for you. Like this is not going anywhere with you because this is so heavy. But if you're someone where you just want your year in one place and your planner is definitely just a sitting duck, or maybe you just want like a huge book for like your work planning, this is definitely something to look into. I think this was a great run as a first planner run of the company. So really happy to support Brianna and her planner company this year. I can't wait to see what else they do for next year. So I'm really curious to know what you guys think of this planner. Like I said, this is the biggest planner I have ever seen, I have ever reviewed. And that's really exciting that people just keep pushing the boundaries in the planner community. So I think that's awesome. Let me know what you think of this planner down below. If you think you are picking this up or what you think about it. Would you use a planner this big? That's something else that I would love to know in the comments below. So like this video if you liked it as much as I enjoyed filming it for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. And as always, I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.